Salutations, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. V back with another casted game of Age of Empires 3. And this week, my dear viewers, I bring you what just might be the grudge match of all grudge matches of this game's entire history. Now, this game has been around since 2005, 19 years, only 4 years if you're counting DE, but still, that is a ton of time, and a lot of rivalries have been formed in that time, but there may not be a rivalry that is more timeless than the French versus the Germans. So let's introduce our players and then get into this classic 1v1 in the west of the map. Playing in the color red as the French, we have none other than Easy, a very, very good player. I think in the mid 1800s as of this recording, because I did do my research kind of, and it looks like Jean Machu, I cannot speak French, gonna not go for that 80 wood, instead going to go for this 85 food, possibly a little bit easier. Those hyenas are weaker than the lions. And in the east of the map, playing in the color blue as the Germans, we have Kaleli, also a very, very good player, I believe in the upper 1900s. So about 100 ELO difference, but in those higher levels, ELO seems to just change radically as these guys play each other, win against each other, lose against each other. But here we are, Kaleli's German versus Easy's France. Now, Easy going with the early trading post with his 200 wood, and Kaleli deciding to go with the market and hunting dogs, sending the 2 settler wagons. Meanwhile, Easy is sending the 3 CDBs, getting his shipment slightly quicker, it must be said, than Kaleli. And both going for big, beefy treasures. You can tell these guys know their maps because they just zeroed right in. I believe Kaleli picked up the 100 XP. Hashtag free Ulans is the name of his explorer. Kaleli, you dirty dog. Oh, man. I think that's why people both love and hate Germans, is those just insane free cow that they get with every shipment after age 1. It's just so good. It's so good. It's what makes them very, very powerful. But, you know, France is one of the civs that can give Germany a run for its money. It's that classic European clash. Maybe the only rivalry that's better is France versus British, just because, I mean, that one is the classic of classics. But, you know, France versus Germany is right behind. Now, this tends to, you know, kind of battle itself out in Age 3 nowadays. You don't see as much Age 2 in the modern DE meta, simply because rushing, I think it's just kind of fallen out of style. I hope it comes back, because Age 2 games can be really entertaining. Kaleli getting his second hunt in, and a lot of villagers on wood. Pretty much all of them. Gonna go for that TP in the transition, no doubt. And Easy doing a very similar play here, but he's going to be getting his market upgrades instead and getting his house. I think he only went with a 12 vil age up, so did not make that house in the early game. So very quick age up for him. He's gonna be aged up with the quartermaster. Meanwhile, also going up with the quartermaster is Kaleli. But yeah, it tends to be Age 3 unless France decides to kind of put on some early pressure, which they can pretty effectively do, because they do have the musketeer, which Germany does not. And Germans' answer to musketeers in Age 2 is just not great. You have X-bows, and that's pretty much it. And crossbows are just, they're just an unwieldy unit. So getting to Age 3 is going to be Germany's priority. And maybe even sending, ooh, Kaleli's got some despicable mercenaries in here. We have the German Black Riders, we have the Jaegers, and the Pandours. I love this unit. I've been seeing more and more of it in the games I'm watching. An anti-skirmisher, which is just the bane of my existence as a Dutch player. But it does look like Easy is going to get down the barracks. We could be seeing something early, excuse me. Looks like Kaleli is going to be going down with the 3 settlers, and Easy immediately slapping down the 700 wood and queuing a pikeman. Very interesting. He does see this trading post, and I do believe it's out of range of the town center, so maybe going to try to take that out early. 5 pikes on the map. So let's see this early siege aggression from Easy. And meanwhile, his 700 wood is coming in, already sent for CDBs because of that early trading post. Going to be really strong for France. I think both France and Germany like having the early trading post. And I'm actually kind of intrigued that Kaleli did not go with the early trading post, opting for the market instead. We'll see which one proves to be better. And now Easy is queuing Musketeers, as we said, not an easy unit for Germany to counter, but it looks like Kaleli's just going to be going on sheer Ulan mass, as many German players do. It does look like he now has a ton of Vils on coin, going to be getting, a lot of coins, sending 700 wood as well, so maybe not a strict age up as I might have predicted. And in come the, we got 8 Ulan here, no, 7 Ulan versus those 5 pikes, and even though pikes are the counter to Ulan, great micro there by Kaleli, trying to get that Ulan out, didn't quite make it, but still, 5 of the 7 Ulan still remaining and taking out 5 pikes their counter. A really nice trade there for Kaleli. And is possibly going to pick up this Explorer. A nice pickup there, 45 XP. So 2 small victories in a row for Kaleli, though Easy is going to get his 1 remaining scout out. He does have 5 musks on the field, which are going to be much more effective than the standard pikes, because they'll be able to fire at range. And I doubt there's going to be much raiding coming here from Kaleli, simply because Easy's done a pretty good job hurting here, and he's done a nice job creating a ring of buildings around his town center, now getting the stable out. And Kaleli's sending 700 coin. Meanwhile, 700 coin already coming in from Easy, but it doesn't look like he's macroing for the Fortress Age, at least not yet. Going to be getting 10 musks out, going to save that trading post most definitely, but the native scout now going down, so losing his vision on most of the map. And I think Kaleli is going to back this up with an age up very, very quickly. And this is kind of the struggle for France, right? Is you have to do enough damage against Germans before they can get to age 3 and just get that really powerful composition of the skirms and the war wagons plus the free Ulans. It's just such a tough mass to deal with at the 11-12 minute mark. But France can do it, right? They have skirmishers of their own, they have very powerful dragoons, and they have the very powerful coureurs de bois, which can go toe-to-toe with Ulans, most definitely. Getting 3 Hussar out now, and a church down, so we could be seeing some upgrades there. Getting a hunt in, and in comes the raid, but not going to be an engagement there. I was wondering if Easy was going to try to snare those Ulan with his Hussar, and then he could have brought in the muskets. But now it looks like Easy is sending 8 crossbows, 5 Hussar, and muskets being queued. So I think we're going to see a push here from Easy pretty soon. Meanwhile, Kaleli already over halfway aged with the exiled prince. I don't know if this push is going to come soon enough. I think by the time Easy gets to his base, Kaleli is going to have a shipment, possibly going to be 8 skirms, maybe even 6 war wagons with the 3 Ulans. That is just an insane shipment. Even getting amalgamation, wow. You don't usually see that upgrade that early, but I mean, if you have the resources, you might as well spend it. Though Kaleli is currently housed, gonna make sure he gets his houses down. That is something that macroing can be hard, right? For, beginner players or intermediate players, constantly finding themselves housed because you just forget to macro wood because so many of the units just cost food and coin. But now we're going to see a raid here. Nice villager pickup for Easy. And this is the moment. Can he do enough damage here before that first shipment of 6 war wagons is gonna come out? And the muskets able to take out these Ulans pretty well. These Ulans are not upgraded. Minutemen now being called, so I mean, that's a decent investment. Did get those Minutemen out, but now we do have the war wagons coming out. Skirms can be trained if Kaleli has a barracks, which he does not actually. So there's going to be a bit of a delay until the skirms are able to come out and counter both these crossbows and these musketeers. So the timing is on for France, and he's retreating right now, which I don't know if I agree with. Maybe he's just waiting for the Minutemen to kind of time out on their HP, but he definitely needs to get some damage done here. More Hussar coming out. That is quite a massive cav. And we'll see. Maybe he can use these 8 Expos to kind of get on these war wagons, though they're not going to do a ton of damage. The Hussar getting in a decent spot now, but the war wagons immediately targeting them. He needs to take those Minutemen down. They're at 1 HP. He cannot have them firing. They have 26 ranged attack. Needs to target them as soon as possible. The Minutemen getting so much free damage, but this is going to be a nice pickup for France. The German army is going to be wiped, and I think a bit of an overextension there from Kaleli. I think think he pushed out a bit too early. He did not have his veteran Uhlans, and he only had a few war wagons. So possibly a bit too overeager from Kaleli, but let's see what the follow-up is from Easy. He is now in the Fortress Age himself, so really nice here. Getting his Gang Saw upgrade along with his Greatcoat and Blunderbuss, so gonna have some very powerful Vils as well if he ever needs to pull them into the fight. Skirms and Dragoons on the way. So we have now seen the switch to Age 3. I don't think France did enough damage in Age 2 to call that a win, but he also was able to take out a decent portion of Germany's early Age 3 mass. So overall, pretty good from both players. We do see Easy with a bit of a score lead, but Kaleli getting down another town center here. And this is where we see Germany just start to spread across the map and just devour these coin mines. That's the one Achilles heel of Germany, is that they do not have access to coin. They are dead in the water because they are so coin dependent. It's similar to like how the Brits and the Ports are with food. Meanwhile, we do see Easy sending 8 skirms and 9 black riders on the way from Kaleli. Kaleli, what are you doing, sir? Going very, very heavy into anti-cav, which is good, but there actually aren't a lot of hussars left for Easy, so these black riders, while very, very powerful, they don't really have a useful target yet. Though they will still do really well against these muskets and these crossbows. But there are some skirms mixed in, so he's going to want to take a smart engagement here. Those black riders, so very powerful, but also very expensive. And we might see another Vil raid here. A nice catch again from Easy, so he's staying active, maybe not being as proactive with his army as he should, but he knows to pressure the resources. He knows that this is about the time where Germany needs to fan out and start searching for additional coin mines and additional hunts. So definitely wants to keep that aggression up. You definitely don't want to let German mercenary shipments stack. Dealing with one shipment of mercenaries, okay, that's fine. But if Black Riders stack on Jaegers, stack on Pandors, that becomes an unkillable mass. And now 10 Uhlans coming out. The cavalry are becoming very, very powerful. The German army starting to push forward here, maybe going to take out the French. Definitely needs to get his skirmishers away, and now the Uhlans are on top of the skirms, and now the muskets are going to be able to shield, but these are just Age 2 muskets. They do not have the veterancy upgrade, going down very quickly to the Black Riders and the Uhlans, but now a lot of the Uhlans falling to the Dragoons, and there are enough Dragoons here to deal with these Uhlan. Meanwhile, I like what Easy's doing here, targeting his skirms onto the Black Riders. There are now only 7 remaining, but still such powerful units, and these war wagons with their 500 HP. I think another good engagement there for Easy, though Kaleli was able to clean up a lot of his early Age 2 mass, the crossbows and the muskets, but those were expendable anyways. I don't think that Easy was going to go for, he's not going to go for veteran crossbow, and he's probably not going to go for veteran musketeer. So a very worthwhile trade there, I think, in Easy's favor. And now the resources are being pressured. This is exactly how you have to play against Germany. You have to keep them off the coin mines. But Kaleli, the Pandors are on the way, which is going to be so effective against this skirm mass. But a settler wagon going down. These are irreplaceable, possibly going to lose another. 2 now going down. And Easy right now is in the driver's seat. And I think he's playing this so well. Now, he has not been able to limit this second town center at all, so Kaleli has done a nice job branching his resources, right? He hasn't put all of his chips into this one play. He now has a secondary resource hunt he can go for, a secondary coin mine he can go for, and I think he's going to be fine here. With the Pandors coming out, more war wagons on the way. I certainly don't think Kaleli is out of this by any means, and the scores prove it. He's only down about 1,500 score, but now losing a lot of housing here. And yeah, again, I just think Easy's doing really, really smart moves here. And now these Dragoons gonna get caught here. What was that voice squeak? What am I, an 8th grader? But they are going to be able to join up with the main army, the skirmishers coming in. And yeah, just right now, with the Pandors and these Black Riders, it's a powerful army, but it is very small. Germany has had to invest a lot of his early coin into these shipments. And he does still have the Jaegers, which I don't know if he's going to try to save up for those. He might. Still doesn't have a barracks. Wow. I thought he would have a barracks by now, but I guess he doesn't need it. He has these infantry shipments, sending 9 Uhlans now, gonna get some cavalry, but there's a lot of French Dragoons. I cannot talk. French Dragoons English. It's my only language. Learn it. But let's see what the army is looking like for easy. 17 dragoons, 22 skirms, 5 crossbows, and the 3 cure shipment. Meanwhile, he's got 36 CDB versus 35 German vills, although some of those are settler wagons. So the economy is very equal. I believe they are equal in terms of market upgrades. I don't know if Easy got amalgamation, but I think he did. And now there is enough curs here to threaten these Pandors. Let's see. Ooh, nice free shot there on the Pandors, taking one of them down. And he has just enough skirms to target these Pandors and take them down quickly, but gonna want to get his curs on there. I don't know if there's enough war wagons here to deal with that many cures. They are a very powerful unit, and they have the splash damage. And now the Dragoons body blocking, trying to take out the war wagons. Meanwhile, Minutemen coming out from the second TC, 9 Ulans coming in, and ooh, they might be able to get a juicy catch on these Dragoons. No, they are not. The Skirmishers going to back away. Dragoons breaking out in front to protect. And the Pandors are still alive, and now with the Minutemen, I think Kaleli's going to be able to hold this. Ladies and gentlemen, these mercenaries proving to be insurmountable for the French army, though the 9 Ulan shipment did have to be sacrificed. A really good hold there by Kaleli. The Minutemen, the 9 Ulans, and he's continuing to pursue French now, and now it is easy on the back foot. These 5 cures going to be useless against all of these war wagons, and the Minutemen just being relentless, along with the Pandors. Still so many of these guys alive, and we see how effective they were in the skirmisher duel, just able to annihilate Easy's mass of skirms. Though Easy did clean up quite a few of those Ulans, and he did basically bring down the war wagon numbers to 0, but the reinforcing batch now means that there are still plenty of war wagons here to deter any of these cures. Needs more skirms out immediately, making more and sending 2 falconets. So against this infantry block, that might be just what he needs, but I don't know. If Kaleli reinforces with more cav and more war wagons, it could be dire. The Dragoon numbers are now only at about 4 or 5. And, ooh, out of coin here. That's going to be really bad as he has to walk these villagers all the way back down. Now, these villagers do have great coats, so if there was to be a fight, they could join and do pretty well. Gonna lose a couple of vills here. Oh, no, Easy. Wow. Those CDBs tank so much damage. But now it looks like Easy sees the German army, going to take out those Minutemen immediately. Look at them fall. And those cures are getting on the Pandors, but so many war wagons, they're just able to one-shot these cuirassiers before they're able to do much damage. And now skirmishers coming out. In come the 2 falconets, going to blow those skirmishers away, but the skirmishers going to go into melee on the cannons. When have we ever seen that? Skirmishers melee attacking a falconet, and the cures going down rapidly, but they are able to clean up most of these Pandors. Meanwhile, Kaleli has 1,000 coin. Are the 12 Jaegers going to be slammed down any minute here? Let's see. Yes, here they come, the 12 Hessian Jaegers, going to be very, very effective. 1 falconet still remaining. Those 8 skirms getting decimated, though they were able to muscle down one of the 2 falconets. But another victory here for the French army. The German war wagons coming in, but there are now enough skirmishers once again to possibly deal with them. And wow, this is a back and forth game. Ladies and gentlemen, we've seen Easy be in the driver's seat a couple of times. We've seen Kaleli take a couple of good fights as well. And this really could go either way. Kaleli probably going to lose this 3rd town center unless the Jaegers pop out. He's hovering his war wagons around, almost like he's waiting for them to come out. But now, oh no, the falconet! Is it going to make it? Yeah, he's going to lose these Ulans, but going to take a falconet, and what a nice trade for Kaleli. Those might have been 3 Ulans as well, but now producing 3 vills at a time, while Easy is still only on the 1 TC. So it is now 51 German vills versus 44. Kaleli with a significant villager lead now, and we'll see if that translates into unit production. Now sending 7 skirms is Easy. Meanwhile, Kaleli looks like the Jaegers have arrived, but smartly not shipping them to that forward town center. I think he realizes that that is lost. But he now has an army of about 5 war wagons, 12 Jaegers. It is powerful, but I don't think it's enough to deal with this French army. Not yet. He's going to need some reinforcing Ulan, or maybe even some skirms. And here come the reinforcing Ulan, as predicted. But these Jaegers, oh no! Okay, it looks like the Ulan are going to be able to protect them, but will the Kurs be able to protect the skirmishers? It is pure curse skirm here for easy. He's even got a couple of dragoons here sieging this outpost, so wants to make sure he keeps vision on Kaleli. Kaleli doing a nice job outposting a lot of these resources, making sure that his villagers do have a safe haven. Meanwhile, Easy, his villagers are completely exposed. We'll see if that comes back to bite the French player. A lot of cures on the map here, along with a decent batch of skirms. Meanwhile, Kaleli, his economy is starting to kick in. We have 10 Ulan, we have the 12 Jaegers, and we still have the 4 war wagons. Meanwhile, 7 skirm coming in, plus 3 Ulans, more war wagons, ranged cavalry caracol, I don't know, cavalry cuirass. I don't know what that upgrade's called, but a lot of upgrades even coming from the arsenal here, and he has a couple more cav upgrades in his deck. 1, 2, 3. So we could start to see some very powerful Ulan play from Kaleli. Now skirms and war wagons joining the fight, and the reinforcing batch from Germany is looking nasty here. We'll see if French can hold out. That is so many Ulans, and with those war wagons, they might be able to deal with the Kurds, but the Kurds do have splash damage. Maybe they'll be able to win against these Ulan, and yes, they are doing very well against the Ulan, and the skirmishers doing a good job to target the war wagons. The Hessians in the back trying to target the skirms, but the cuirassiers doing excellent against that Ulan mass, and down go the war wagons. And once again, France has taken a decent engagement here, though the Ulans and skirms are still alive. Cuirassiers now getting on that batch, and that is the final shipment for Kaleli when it comes to mercenaries. So no more mercenaries going to be coming out. It's just regular German units, which are going to be much less scary. And now this massive cures might be able to dive on these light infantry or possibly even these villagers, and things are looking really, really nasty for Kaleli here. What does he got? He's got more war wagons in queue, more cuirassiers in queue for easy, and even sending riflemen upgrade, Senghalese riflemen, which is going to give him 10% attack. And let's see what he does here. More villagers going down for Kaleli. It is now 54 to 50. The villager gap has been decreased by quite a bit, but look at this amount of reinforcing war wagons. Gonna want to keep his cures back. There are enough skirms here to beat the Jaegers now, and those war wagons will not be able to do hardly anything, especially now with these skirms getting an attack upgrade. More cures joining the fray, and we are going to see pure heavy cav light infantry from France, but he's even got some skirms of his own mixed in. Let's see. He's not choosing to engage with the Kurds yet. I think he wants to take out a couple more war wagons. In a state going down for Kaleli, that is a very bad sign, seeing as France is still on 1, 2 coin mines. Look at this, outposts going down. We're going to see a fight for this coin mine here, and both armies are breaking for the northern side of the map, but Kaleli just doesn't have an army that can resist this French assault. And with these CDBs having Greatcoat and Blunderbuss, they're actually going to be able to help in the fight against these outposts and do relatively well. One of the outposts not going down, the other one not going to last long, but the German army is still powerful. Even though it is small, there are still about 3 Jaegers mixed in, and with these villagers also interfering, he might be able to soak up some of the damage, but he's also going to be losing villagers. CDB's getting pulled in, and this is a really smart move by Easy. Sieging the outpost possibly wants them in the fight rather than sieging. More skirms coming in, more war wagons, and even some Ulans even. I actually think this might be good for Kaleli. Holy cow. Surely not. There's only a few Ulans here. But I mean, the CDs are being pulled in. The skirmishers are targeting the war wagons. No, I think this is still very favorable for Easy. Oh, man. I thought Kaleli might have a chance there. He got his Ulans on those skirmishers, and no, there just weren't enough. There weren't enough. If that had been like maybe, 7 or 8 Ulan, I think there definitely could have been a swing there. But wow, what a play from Easy. That was so well done by France. I think that was an incredibly fun game. Really back and forth, especially on this map where you have kind of that middle bridge by the trading line separated by these 2 pawns. It makes for a really good area for fighting. And then as the game goes on, you start to branch out into these other resources areas, especially in the south and north of the map. I know I'm sounding I know I'm sounding so frantic right now, but it's because that game was so good. Oh my gosh. I really thought Kaleli had it there a couple of times, especially when the Pandors got that good engagement on the skirms, but Easy keeping his head down, powering through, and he did exactly what you need to do against Germany. Once again, You cannot let Germany sit back and suck up all the coin mines because you will just lose. You need to pressure their resource spots. You need to have a varied composition. You need to be ready to deal with their war wagons. You need to have anti-cav to deal with their Ulan, and you need to be able to deal with those mercenary shipments one at a time. If you sit back in your base and let them stack mercenaries along with the free Ulans and the war wagons and the skirms, you will be annihilated. But wow, this is why this matchup has been timeless. It's why it was entertaining back in 2005, and it's why it was still entertaining today. But let's take a look at this game in a little more detail. Follow me to the post game. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are in the post game. I've taken a moment to collect myself, so hopefully I will speak more clearly and more calmly. If we look at the resources here, an incredibly close game within about 200 resources of each other. And when we're talking about resources in the tens of thousands, that is insanely close. Just a small edge to easy. The French economy really starting to take over once he was able to get those Ville kills towards the end of the game. And military units, 167 to 150, which is also incredibly close. A lot of Ulans, a lot of skirms. Just really, really down to the wire this entire match. If we look at the Ville count, very even. Germany starts to take a significant lead once he gets down those extra TCs, but France really evens it out there towards the end, and I think it ended with 60 versus 53, but we do have to remember that the CDBs are about 1.25 villagers, so you do the math on that, and I think France might actually come out with the lead there. You'd have to take into account the settler wagons, and it's math I don't want to do, but very even economies. And then we look at the military unit population, and wow, what a roller coaster. Up and down, up and down. We see a really good fight for Kaleli here at about the 16-minute mark when those Pandors were popping out. And then we see a really bad fight here when the Cures and the Skirms were able to deal with those war wagons. And then very even, and then towards the end, Kaleli just could not recover because his economy was being pressured in so many areas. So a really, really good high-level game. One of my favorites in recent memory. That was just so back and forth. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Until next week, guys, have a great day. Have a great life. See you later.